Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. My name is Evan Smith. I'm the pastor at Second Presbyterian Church here in downtown Stanton, and I'm coming to you today for your daily video devotional. Today I wanted to look again at the same verses we looked at yesterday because I think it had even more to say. And so let's hear that word from 1 Corinthians, the first chapter, verses 11 to 13. Paul writes, "For it has been reported to me by Chloe's people that there are quarrels among you, my brothers and sisters. What I mean is that each of you says, I belong to Paul, or I belong to Apollos, or I belong to Cephas, or I belong to Christ. Has Christ been divided? Was Paul crucified for you, or were you baptized into the name of Paul?" The other thing I was thinking about when it came to this idea of dividing up into camps and divisions was the fact that nowadays, in the midst of our time of pandemic, the most reliable indicator for how someone feels about the pandemic, how someone feels about wearing a face covering, how vigilant people feel they need to be to protect not only themselves but others, falls more in line with one's political affiliation than it does one's faith. And that's problematic. You see, what that's saying effectively is someone is identifying more with a party than they are their faith. And we have to not allow such things ever to divide us. Politics is one of those things that we're never going to get away from, right? There's a difference, though, between being political and being partisan. Partisan means that you have one party in mind and you are championing them entirely. We as a church must never do that. Political just means you're involved with the things that are going on all around you. We as a church must always, in that sense, be political. And so while I'm afraid that for some it's become a political statement to be able to say things like, oh, we shouldn't have to wear a face covering because I have this Christian freedom, or oh, the government's telling me I can't do X, Y, and Z, and therefore I must rebel. That's the kind of statement that if you fall into those camps, I fear that what's happening is we're elevating our division over our unity in Christ. And part of the unity in Christ that we should have is always consider others better than ourselves, as Philippians says. To take on, as Christ did, the form of a servant. Actually, the Greek says the form of a slave, so that others may be taken care of. And I think that's something that we as the church need to be able to do. We need to be able to engage harmful rhetoric, harmful division, and proclaim that putting others above ourselves is always going to be greater than any imagined rights or political affiliations. I know this is one of those things as I started, like, you know what, I can tell as I've done this, like, oh, this is not going to be a popular message. But I think this needs to be said. We cannot allow, as Christians, as people of faith, the politics of the world to divide us when the message of the cross is something that should be uniting us. And what is that message? Care for others, putting others above ourselves, sacrificing the things that we want, our comfort, our desires, that others may have life. And that is your word for today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please click the like button, maybe even share it on your own page. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, and goodbye.